the June 5th, 2024 City Council meeting. Please rise and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll have the city clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Satel.
Here.
Councilmember Weshi.
Here.
Councilmember Grimmer.
Here.
Councilmember Putel is absent. Councilmember Luke.
Here.
Councilmember Luther.
Here.
Councilmember Norris.
Here.
Councilmember Hood.
Here.
Okay, we have 7 out of 8 council members here. Next item on the agenda is agenda approval.
So moved.
Second.
Norris.
All right, we have a light on. Councilmember Luke, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to amend the agenda.
Okay,
Second.
there's a motion to amend the agenda, seconded by Councilmember Satel. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And
We know
your
what it's about
amendment,
first?
please?
We know what it's about first
All right,
before we vote?
we don't know what the
Your amendment?
is.
Thank you, Mayor. The amendment is to add city code review under discussion items.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, the amendment is to add city code review under discussion item, which is in. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, the agenda has been amended. All in favor of the amended agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, your agenda for this evening has been approved. Public comments is on the agenda next, and I will call Mrs. Fisher to the podium.
Okay, I'm asking as a resident, since we're doing changes to our city through the charter and a lot of ordinances, I want to know how you're letting your residents know that this is happening. And also about 50 changes, yet it will make about 73 provisions, which is an impact. Actually, that's what the, how they word it on this. So what it means is that just one thing doesn't mean just one thing, it means a whole bunch of things. And I wanted to know how you are letting your residents, which you are serving up there on these seats, know that this is happening. And can we have, from here on out, addressing the charter points that you guys plan on putting on us to vote for, so we know what's going on, and so people know that this is happening to their city. So I know that you guys can't talk, but the thing is that I want to know how you're informing the city, your residents, about the charter changes and how they're supposed to keep up with all of this, and how they are supposed to read all of this, and 50 changes will, in essence, make 73 more provisions. All right, so there's an issue here with letting your residents know what's going on. And so I would like that to be addressed with the next council meeting, please. And I will have a lot more questions. And also, I've been talking to people about MoDOT on St. Charles Rock Road, because there are too many issues which have not been addressed for 12 years that you were in council. So I hope that you're in mayor now, that we're going to get things improving around here, instead of electrical light signs, fountains. Let's take care of the residents, and let's take care of St. Charles Rock Road before we want to make all things all pretty. All right, so that's one of many, so get used to it. And I'm going to be writing a lot of papers to y'all, and a lot of changes would have to be done, because I think that the residents are being neglected, and a lot of residents are feeling the same way. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we'll close the public comments portion. We move on in the agenda to F, the approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Motion is made to approve the minutes from May the 15th by Councilmember Luke, seconded by Councilmember Luther. Any amendments, changes, additions, deletions? I see none. All in favor of the minutes from May the 15th, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Your minutes are approved for May the 15th.
Any abstentions? Any abstentions?
Extension?
Oh, yeah.
Extension, and not attending the meeting, I can't comment on the minutes.
Oh, you're right, okay, any abstentions?
Yes,
Aye. Okay.
abstention.
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Grimmer wasn't at that meeting, so he's not voting,
Mr. Hood either.
or Mr. Hood, Councilmember Hood, okay. So the other council members in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay, any nays? Okay, the minutes are approved, thank you. Next item is appointments, presentations, proclamations, announcements, public hearings, we have none.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, Councilmember Luther?
Yes, I'd like to follow up on the conversation that, an email that all of you received regarding assignments for the council subcommittees. Those, following up on that email, there is a list at your place tonight, so I just wanted to draw your attention to that. If you have any questions, please see me. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next item, consideration of resolutions. We have none on the agenda for this evening. Next item, we don't have any public hearings, no permits, waivers, appeal requests. Next item, emergency legislation, contracts or bids. We have none. We have no perfection of bills. Next item is consideration of new bills. Do I have a motion for the first reading consideration for bill number 6436?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Luther makes a motion for first reading of bill number 6436, seconded by Councilmember Luke. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Councilmember Luke.
Thank you, Mayor. Bill 6436 is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Bridgeton, Missouri, amending and restating Chapter 510.030 International Property Maintenance Code, Chapter 3, Section 302.4, Weeds of the Bridgeton Code of Ordinances. Move to table.
Second?
First reading of bill number 6436 by Councilmember Luke and seconded by Councilmember Luther. All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Bill number 6436 is tabled. Next item is discussion items. Number one is the city code review. Councilmember Luke.
Thank you, Mayor. So this discussion comes as a result of me reading through Bill 6436 and then finding references to the same information elsewhere in the city code and bringing up some questions about redundancies and inconsistencies and whether or not we need to actually take a hard look at our city code for significant redundancies and inconsistencies and places where there's actually even conflict between two different sections or more. So I just wanted to have a discussion openly in front with all the council, invite public comments next time if anyone so chooses, and with our city attorney here tonight, Mr. Tallis, who helped craft this bill, 6436, to be able to weigh in as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Grimmer?
Well, so the question is, have we found some conflicts? I mean, is that the issue? If there's conflict, I think we should obviously repair the conflicts or adjust it so there are no conflicts, but if there's none, if there's simply overlap, I guess the old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Councilmember Norris.
Well, what would that, sorry, what would that entail? I mean, is that a legal situation? Would we have to hire a outside to look at that code and then go over them to see if there's anything? That would be something we would have to look at as an expense, and that would have to be a budgeted expense, because, I mean, if we would have to hire lawyers to do this specially, but, you know, we haven't, I mean, we've just keep adding to our codes and things have changed, and maybe it is time to look at it and bring it up to, since we're doing our charter, maybe we need to look at that. But I would say that's, has to have some legal issues, which is, you know, a cost factor.
Councilmember Sattel.
Yeah, I'd like to pass on to our city attorney for some discussion on this particular matter. He brought up a few questions earlier, and maybe you could address what we're talking about on this, so we're all on the same page. Thank you.
Happy to answer any specific questions anyone has. As a general matter, why don't we start with this particular ordinance, 6436. Councilmember Luke noted that there's another section of the Bridgeton Code, section 255, that also deals with weeds. That was the original existing part of the code that was last amended in 2011. In 2021, the most recent edition of the International Property Maintenance Code was adopted by Bridgeton as a whole. That is a comprehensive code that addresses many different things, including weeds and a great many other topics. So yes, weeds are addressed in two different sections of the code. There are other places throughout the code where the same subject matter is is addressed in two different places. I think any time where, as someone pointed out, we're just adding to the code, there's necessarily going to be overlap and instances where the same subject is addressed in two different places. But I would note that just because two sections of the code might address the same subject matter and there might be differences, that a difference is not the same thing as a conflict. Right? I think that's an important distinction to make. You can have two different sections of the code that have different wordings with one another, but oftentimes they can exist without getting in the way of one another. If there's a conflict, if one section of the code says one thing and it can't be read harmoniously with another section, that's a different problem, right? That's a conflict. But I think if it's just addressed in two different sections, that's okay. I think Councilmember Luke made the good point. Why even have the same subject matter addressed in two different places? It is a good point. There may be a time and a place to address either the specific instances where it's addressed in one or more places or the code as a whole, but as was noted, that is a comprehensive undertaking. It's hard to do with a code as a whole. It's a budget item expense more likely than not. So that may be something the council wants to address on its own, but in terms of this particular ordinance, I don't see a conflict between this particular ordinance and the existing Chapter 255. So that was a general comment there. Councilmember Sattel, was there anything specific that you wanted me to address?
No, I just thought it was important to make this as a public comment for the citizens to be able to hear if they watch this video, than it was just common conversation, okay? And so I think you adapted to it pretty well, you know, for the citizens, along with us council members. No, I don't want a second reading tonight. I think it's appropriate that we did table this. This gives 2 weeks for citizens if they want to listen to this or have comments about this before we vote one way or the other 2 weeks from now or whatever. I think that's a very appropriate way to handle that. Another issue that I look at kind of ties to this, I was going to wait to bring it up tonight now. We have already things in the code about plants, like when you have a new facility and you plant trees and they're supposed to be maintained. Now, sometimes they cut them to the ground, but they're supposed to still put a new tree in. That's not the issue we have right now, but, you know, because see, we have some overgrown stuff, okay, that's not being maintained. But I think the same part of the code should be where they're supposed to maintain, and if there's landscaping that was approved, if the bushes and stuff die and they cut them down, and I'm addressing that because I'm an irrigation guy, and we had to make sure we watered these plants. Well, now they turn the water off, they don't use it, and they let them die, but they do cut everything to the ground, but then the landscaping isn't re-landscaped like it was approved by our code, and they're supposed to replant. And so that's the things that I'm trying to address. Even if we have a spot that says, hey, we can cut them off, well, they're supposed to have landscaping according to the plans anyway. So if we cut things to the ground, shrubbery also, are they being cut in a manner that they can regrow? Or are they being cut totally at the soil, which is really wrong to have that same plant regrowing, okay? That's just my horticulture experience trying to kick in, but I want to make sure that the landscaping, if someone comes along and trims it, it's trimmed appropriately so that it's then alive still for future, and not have to come in and have to have a brand new landscape plan submitted to the Bridgeton, and have to have it all replanted again. That's all, thank you.
All right, let's stick with the city code review discussion item, if we could. Councilmember Hood?
Yes, this is our code is kind of like a living document. We're constantly updating it. We're going through the process of upgrading the liquor portion of it. So I think that we do a pretty good job of trying to stay on top of this and handle each issue as it comes up.
Councilmember Luther?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I was just wondering if it's appropriate to have a group or task force or whatever you want to call it, look at just general code review, if that's something that, and then decide whether it's something to take on or pursue, what that might be. Just a suggestion to address code review. Maybe something to talk about first with a committee or task force, and then bring to and look at all aspects of what that would be, and then bring it back to council. Just a suggestion.
I would like to say that we could talk about that more in the coming weeks, and if there's really an interest in doing a full code review, we could talk about that more during our mid-year budget session in July, and talk about if we want to do that, and if so, talk about the amount of funds that should be put in the budget for 2025. Does everybody think that's reasonable?
I agree.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? Well, we've got the city attorney here. Anybody else have questions of him regarding this bill or the discussion of city code review? I see none. Thank you. Next is the attorney's report.
Nothing further from me, Mr. Mayor.
I'm done.
Council communications. I'll start with Councilmember Hood.
I have nothing this evening.
Councilmember Norris.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have something. Good evening. I attended many planned events in Bridgeton, and I'm gonna run through these real quickly. Busy person, busy city, busy. Went to a trip with the Cardinal ball game with the senior division. We didn't bring back a winner. Well, yeah, it did win, but we had to leave because it was a rain delay. Dedication of Matthews Park. What a great new ride. What a wonderful park. Thank you, parks. Thank you, everyone. It's really a good asset to our city. Attended the breakfast at Chick-fil-A, meet and greet with the Pattonville Fire Department and the Bridgeton Police. Many residents got a chance to talk with our emergency responders. It was a great event. I attended the pool party for the commission members and employees. It was a lovely opportunity to talk with residents and staff. I hope we can continue that program. I also attended a seminar today on diversity and respect in the workplace, very informative. Every information you get is knowledge. Communication was the main thing. We need to communicate more with each other. I attended the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis. An award was given to our late mayor, Terry Briggs. It was the Buzz Westfall Award for Excellence in Local Government. So that was a great honor. His wife and his brother and sister were there, so I was very proud that we were able to represent our city. Also, there's just some spiels here for the Kiwanis. Reminder, Saturday, June the 8th is the Kiwanis Fishing Derby at Hellebusch Park. Starts at 9:45 to 11. No charge. Children welcome. They're encouraged to bring fishing rods. We only have a few. And I do, a sad note, if anyone did know, she was a member of Arlington Methodist, longtime resident, volunteer, Pat Bryan, passed away on May the 18th. Her visitation, our celebration of life will be held on Thursday, June the 27th at Arlington Methodist. Visitation begins at 5 o'clock and service at 6. So she was a very devoted, she was on the Pattonville Alumni Association, she was Pattonville School Board, she also was chairman of our Parks Division, so she was a very active resident. So I really, she was just a nice lady. And also I just remember tomorrow is 80 years of D-Day, June 6, 1944. We're a land of the free, because of the brave. Also, one more advertisement, the Kiwanis Golf Tournament is July the 19th. Would love to see a Bridgeton team, so I hope we could get that going. That would be great. We do a lot of things for the residents of Bridgeton. And one more thing, I do want to thank Gretchen Luke, Public Works and Street Department. An incident happened on Mark Twain that caused damage to a longtime resident's property. A temporary fix to protect his property. I do appreciate all your help and kindness. He is such a very nice man. So thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Wow.
Councilmember Luke?
Thank you, Mayor. So same, likewise, thank you to Public Works for your quick response on a couple issues. One, the issue that Mrs. Norris just mentioned, the quick response, the temporary solution you came up with, and now the permanent fix. He's very happy, and he's thrilled that there won't be any cars hitting his house. And then also the stormwater issue up on Natural Bridge. I saw that the sidewalk's being worked on now, so I really do appreciate that one as well. I was going to ask for a midterm budget review, but I did see the email go out today, and either one of those dates works for me. And then I also attended a bunch of events over the past few weeks. But the one that I want to talk about the most is the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis webinar that they hold monthly. I attended virtually the May event, and Pat Kelly, the executive director of the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis, did a really good job of updating us on the Missouri legislative session. He said it ended the Friday before this meeting. This meeting was on February 23rd. It was busy, but an unproductive session. 574 people are running for 12 positions this year in November. 574 people running for 12 positions. They had, sorry, let me find it because this is just staggering. Most bills ever filed for a Missouri legislative session. 850 bills were filed on the first day. Only 29 were passed. And 18 of those were budget bills that are required. So that's how ineffective our Missouri legislature was, unfortunately, this session. A couple of things that apply directly to Bridgeton. One, we've talked about the grocery tax. That did not pass. Them trying to eliminate the sales tax on groceries. Mayor Briggs drafted the juvenile justice reform bill that was presented at legislation. The April elections were preserved, no changes to the election laws. They were trying to eliminate some stuff that would have affected us. Governor Parsons passed the largest budget in Missouri history, and part of that is because of allocating the ARPA funds. Another good thing that came out of the budget was mandating that teacher base pay is $40,000 a year, and they will keep teachers at a 5-day work week. So I think it's good that we're actually supporting our teachers in the state of Missouri. And then there was also a $4.5 billion tax incentive for rural hospitals, so that people who do live in the rural areas of Missouri are able to have access to health care. And then finally, $17.5 million was put in the budget in planning for the soccer in Kansas City that's coming in 2026. So, I mean, it's all really good, interesting information. The next session is going to be in June, and they're gonna talk about community engagement. So if any of you are interested, that might be a good one to attend. And then finally, my last comment is, are we going to get started on the next set of charter amendments to have on the April ballot, April 2025 ballot? And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Luther?
Thank you, Mayor. First, thanks everybody for being here tonight. I wanted to give you an update on the Code Ordinance Violation Enforcement Subcommittee that was formed last year. Mayor Hine, as council member, as a chair of council, created it. And I wanted to give you an update of some things you're going to be seeing. So we met this evening prior to this meeting. We meet monthly. We try to meet monthly unless we're preempted by other things. And you are going to be seeing some information coming out about ordinances, also about aspects of the community. We're going to be talking to some professionals, professional realtors, that will give us trends and ideas and suggestions about what makes communities attractive. And we'll be putting those in our newsletters and briefs, and then talking about how our code enforcement supports that. So again, elevating the importance of us to be responsible and to our neighbors and respectful to our neighbors and our city. So you'll be seeing those coming out probably over the next few months. Also, again, for the subcommittees that are forming this year, again, thank you all for participating in those, moving a number of initiatives forward. And again, let me know if you have changes to that. I did want to mention, Kevin, I'm going to ask you a question real quick, because you very kindly answered a question from a resident, and I wondered if you could briefly give that explanation. It was about the TIF. There's a lot of, I think, misinformation about TIFs. If you wouldn't mind kind of giving the thumbnail of what a TIF is and what the TIF ending for Walmart means to Bridgeton, particularly in terms of revenue over the, if you don't mind.
Do you want me to cover it now or when I speak, Mayor?
Let's wait till, okay, thank you. Is that all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Grimmer?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I've often talked about the fact that as a city, Bridgeton is big enough, we can get a lot of things done, but it's small enough that you can often just make a phone call or two and get something done. And that very thing happened over the past week in conversation with my Republic driver for the refuse, for the green waste, yard waste pickup, if you will. He mentioned that a lot of folks had put out limbs that were too large for him to take in the regular collection, yard waste collection. And so I made a phone call to Robert, alerting him to the fact, hey, we may want to take a look at that. And sure enough, now we have a special limb pickup, and that's due to the series of storms that we've had. So again, kudos to Bridgeton. It's just a pleasure to live in a place where people can recognize that we have issues and little things that the city can take care of, and we're not so cumbersome or tied up with regulations and rules, that we can adjust ourselves to make these little necessary amenities that just make this a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sattel?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A couple items here. I had a phone call from an owner in one of the apartment complexes down in West Haven. I guess this was on maybe Monday, and he was, didn't know who to talk to, so he asked me to call me as a council member, and him and Scott Zimmer and I talked to him a couple times before. And the reason he called, he said his trash dumpster was full of a bunch of debris that was from somebody doing some home construction, and it had cardboard boxes with an address on Saxon Hall in it, and was wondering who to call, either Robert or this. I said, because they're to protect the things with the evidence, the chain of command on evidence, call the police department. Well, I checked on them a couple hours later. They were police officers down there. They took care of it. They made sure the property owners that put the trash there emptied it back out. I think the the husband put them in, but the wife had to empty the trash back out. So, you know, maybe she was getting some there. But I'm really glad that they addressed it in like a 2-hour period from when the proper owner called me. I said, call 911 that, to protect the chain of command on evidence to make, since he had labels and stuff that was in the trash. I just want to say thank you for what they did on that. On another topic I wanted to bring up, many of you know one of my neighbors across the street. He just passed away on May 30th. Terry Turner owns the 10 acres across the street from the church. He passed away on the 30th. So look forward that probably the 10 acres there, his sons will be probably take care of. We probably will see some kind of development or something going on that property over there. So I know he lives across the street in Ward 4. Wasn't able to talk to you earlier about it, but I did talk to Mr. Masadi about it, making sure that, he's aware of what's going on there. So just keep an eye on them. There might be some processing on some of that property soon. I know there's going to probably be a lot of properties. He owns other properties as well. And I don't know the order for selling, but I know there's a big interest on large properties in Bridgeton for development. So I just want to pass that on to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wishy.
Hey, I got a couple things actually. First off, I would like to thank the Parks Department for not only a really cool Matthew Parks opening event, but also the what I'm calling the Bridgeton pool party that you had for all the employees. My wife and my son were able to come up to that, and even though it was a little bit cold, we really enjoyed ourselves. Robert, I wanted to thank you. I ended up reaching out 3 times since the last meeting. Once for a sewer issue, there was a sewer grate off. Once for a car that was parked on somebody's lawn, and once because of overgrowth next to the Quick Trip down in Ward 2. And each time I reached out, you had a response in under 2 hours, and everything was fixed within a day of me reaching out, so thank you for that. Along with the thanks, Chief, I wanted to thank you. We've had a couple issues, at least in Ward 1, and it sounds like on Facebook, a couple other wards, with pushy door-to-door salespeople lately. So I ended up reaching out to you to see exactly how residents should go about reporting that, and you were back within about 5 minutes after I sent that email letting me know that they should just call the non-emergency number and that you were going to have people look into it also. So thanks for that. Karen and Yolanda, I would like to thank you two for fixing an issue on the website that I ended up seeing. It was a small cosmetic issue, but I think that was fixed in under 2 hours as well. And I did have a question. Oh, I also wanted to say that I ended up joining the Parks Committee, and I ended up going to my first meeting, and it was a lot of fun. You guys know how to have a good meeting, so. I did have a question for the staff here at Bridgeton about Juneteenth. I was very surprised to hear that we were going to be having a council meeting for that, seeing that it's been a national holiday since 2021. I know it's a pretty important holiday for a lot of our residents and possibly people that work here. So I think we should seriously look into adding that to a list of the Bridgeton holidays. I believe I brought this up earlier this year as well. Let's see. And the last thing I wanted to address, I've had 4 residents and 2 council members reach out to me saying that there's a rumor going around that I'm not liking this and I'm not going to run again. I'm enjoying this. This has been a pleasure and an honor to be able to do. I fully plan on running again. So please, if you hear somebody say that, tell them that they've heard wrong. And back to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Staff reports. I'll start with Chief Masadi. Thank you.
Nothing to report tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kane, Parks Director.
Yeah, Independence Day planning is coming along. It's getting hot and heavy these last couple of weeks. I'll have a memo to council and the mayor in the weeks leading up to the 4th, just kind of like an itinerary, a little bit of a cheat sheet to help out. We're still taking parade entries through June 14th. Marketing is going to be starting here on 590 AM radio, The Fan. In the next week or so, we have it on the billboard. You may notice there on 70 at the Rock Road website, social media, etc. So, still taking volunteers. Could use another 4 or 5 people to assist with parade-related duties. Summer day camp starts on Monday. All 6 weeks are sold out. We have 150 kids each of the 6 weeks. Staff's been busy training this week. And finally, concert in the park. Our first one is next week on Thursday, 7 o'clock at Gentry Park, June 13th, and that's Tim Cunningham. So he's got a very large following. If you want to get a good spot in the parking lot or on the hill, get there early. Thank you.
Councilmember Wesche?
I apologize, forgot one thing, and it actually has to do with the 4th of July. I've had numerous residents reach out to me already about parking passes. I'm sorry?
We got them already.
Oh yeah, we have them now. We ended up getting them today. But if you want parking passes, reach out to whoever your council member is, and we should be able to help on that. It seems like there's a lot of confusion about that. Personally, I've been telling people to email me, that way I can see first come, first serve type basis on that. And I know that's how Bob and I did that last year as well too. So if you're not Ward 1, reach out to your council person. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kane, I do have one question. I know the bid opening for the LED or electronic message center sign is Friday. Is that here or at the rec center?
That's here, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Okay, if anybody's interested. Okay, thank you. Mr. Gunn?
All right, today was the first day of the special limb pickup. It's not really too bad out there. We did fill up about a half a truck. Basically, as people have been calling in the last couple of days, we had a small list of people, so we knocked those out, and we'll be continuing with the special limb pickup Thursday and Friday. Today, Bluegrass finished up the second mowing of the intersections at 270 in St. Charles Rock Road and Lindbergh in St. Charles Rock Road. City crews have been driving the sweeper back and forth, picking up a lot of material there. We're going to have a few more times picking up that material before we go ahead and spray any Roundup down on those cracks or the islands. So eventually we'll get there. It just takes a little while. There's a lot of debris there. There's no sense putting spray down only to have an inch or two of loose material that it's going to suck that material up and it's not going to work the way it should. So we're picking the sweeper's out working. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I saw it sweep City Hall today, so it's been out and about. We also went ahead and we started cutting down some of the trees or bushes that are around the intersections that make it look unsightly. So we did a little bit of trimming of that today, and we'll continue the next several days. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Mr. Gunn? I see none. Mr. Bookout?
Yes, there was a question about the TIF, and simply stated, a TIF is tax increment financing, which is a development incentive tool that allows a developer, if approved by a municipality, to capture a portion of the future revenue that is generated once the development is open to reimburse on the development costs when developing the project. There's a 23-year limit in the state of Missouri on TIFs, and if that is not paid off at the end of that 23 years, then it goes away and it's not paid off. But in this case, fortunately for the city of Bridgeton, our Walmart has done very well. We've got obviously a very vibrant retail corridor, and the TIF at the Walmart was paid off early. And I think that's a good thing. I think there's a misnomer. It doesn't add a sales tax to the percentage that is paid. Like I said, it captures a portion that is collected to reimburse the developer. Community improvement districts, transportation development districts actually adds a percentage to the sales tax rate. When those are retired, then the sales tax rate goes down. But in this case, the TIF was paid off early, so the city will begin to receive more of that revenue that was captured for the first, 13 years of that development. So that's certainly a positive for the city of Bridgeton. Also, I did want to mention, and it's been mentioned a couple times, but Yolanda this afternoon sent an email on the mid-year budget meeting on some options there, so I'd encourage you to get that back to Yolanda, and then we'll post what date that will be, and we'll start setting that up. That's all I have. Thank you.
Would you mind covering our holiday schedule also? And address Mr. Wesche's question?
So on Juneteenth, the city has floating holidays that and they're there for employees to use those on the holidays that they would like to observe. We have 6 floating holidays, which is more than most municipalities. I'm certainly open to whatever the council would like to do, but we do provide the opportunity for employees that want to observe the different holidays to utilize those floating holidays for that purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the mayor's report. I too attended the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis annual installation of officers and awards ceremony. And of course, Mrs. Briggs accepted the award that was presented to our Mayor Terry Briggs, the Buzz Westfall Award of Excellence in Local Government. Well deserved. Along with Mrs. Briggs was Terry's sister Debbie and his brother John. The other council members that attended, as well as our city administrator Kevin Bookout, were council members Norris, council member Grimmer, council member Patel, and council member Luke. It was a nice evening, enjoyed by all. I also attended the Cardinal baseball game with the seniors on May 22nd. Yes, I am a senior and will be eligible for Medicare in 2 months. The baseball game, we did bring home 2 winners. One was not planned. It was a game that was continued from the previous day because of a rain delay or a rain out. So that was good that the seniors got to enjoy that. I also attended the dining out event with the seniors on May 29th at Mike Duffy's in Chesterfield. The breakfast with badges went very well last Friday at Chick-fil-A. Congratulations and thank you to our police department and the Pattonville Fire Protection District. There was a good turnout. The city got some publicity from a couple of the news channels. That's always good, positive for our city. We're always looking for positive comments and positive events going on in our city. I ended up last week at the employee swim party at the outdoor pool. This was the first year that this was an event for the employees, and hopefully we can have it organized again for next year and have better participation. It was a little bit chilly, a little bit overcast, so that probably kept some of the employees away. I did ask that staff put away the harpoon guns since I was going to be there. Anyway, I gave council in their basket over the past 2 weeks a copy of 50 survival tips for elected city officials. I think it's always good to keep educating ourselves. We never stop learning. I think every day is an opportunity to learn more for us. So, also, if you'll look at your Missouri Municipal Review magazine, that was in your baskets also. I saw 4 very important articles that I'd like you to take a look at. Roles and responsibilities of elected officials, parliamentary procedure for everyday meetings, navigating the social media landscape, and creating impact as a new local government official. And as we've been discussing, we're either going to have the mid-year budget session on Monday or Tuesday, July 22nd or 23rd, and the time that was presented for both dates was from 4 to 6 p.m. I haven't heard the results yet, so I'm not sure if the date has been decided yet or not, but we'll get back to you and let you know in an email. Hopefully as many council members can attend as possible. And one more thing, or a couple more things, but I sent an email to all council members, elected officials regarding the employee training videos that our employees are required to view. And I know some of you have viewed them, but I've got the names of the people that haven't. So I would like you to do that within the next week or two. I'd like to be on the same page as our employees when it comes to the training that they're receiving. And we will keep you posted. Joanna will keep you posted of future training videos or in-person training that's being done here for employees. Council members, I think, would benefit from attending those also. Thank you to our attorney tonight, Mike Tallis from Hush Blackwell. He's filling in for our regular city attorney, and we appreciate you being with us. Thanks, Robert, for getting the tree limb pickup going. I think we finally realized that because there were so many storms over the past week, or 2 weeks actually, that more people were calling in, so we decided to go ahead and do a 3-day pickup. So make sure you get those out there by tomorrow or Friday, and city crews will be coming around to all the streets throughout the city and picking those up for you and putting them through the chipper truck. To the lady that came up to the podium, what I would like you to do is write down what changes you think need to take place and turn them into myself or the Public Works Director. You spoke about St. Charles Rock Road. And then I'm not quite sure what you're talking about for the charter amendments. There's currently no charter review or revision going on with our previous committee or any of the council members. So if there's something that you know about that I don't know about, please let me know. But thank you for coming forward and speaking. Thank you, audience, for being here. And I think that's about it for this evening. I'd like to ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion for adjournment made by Councilmember Luther, seconded by Councilmember Sattel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? We're adjourned. Thank you.